Hello, YouTube. Welcome. Going to hang around, make sure we get some people join in. I'm about 3 or 4 minutes earlier than expected. But if you're watching this back later, if you're not watching this live, let me just sort that out. If you're not watching this live, please, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask in the comments. I will be coming back and I do answer everything that I see in the comments. So just bear that in mind. Let's go over to there. Can actually get rid of that on there. Okay. So we're just waiting for some people. Hopefully you get some people to join in. Let me know in the comments where you're from. A couple of people watching so far. And I think they might be me. You will see me look over here now and again because I've got another screen open just here with the comments section. So if I get any comments live, Nick. So we've got man flu. Yeah, absolutely. Likewise, mate. I've just got over a chest infection. I say got over it. I'm still kind of on the tail end of it, including flu. So where you've seen me coughing over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I actually turned into a chest infection. It got really nasty. I had antibiotics and all kinds of stuff going on. A bit nasally, but I'll try and get through tonight without boring everyone with my flu stories. Just we'll wait a few more minutes. We've got a little bit of time. I've got a drink. Keep the throat nice and lubricated. Oh. Another couple of people joined in. Let me know where you're from, guys and girls. If you're watching live, please put in the comments. Jed, good lads. Nice to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing okay. I'm still feeling, I'm on the tail end of the crappy stuff I had last week, but yeah, still got a bit of the flu. And if I start a coughing fit, I'll leave the room. But I hope you're doing well, Jed. Give it a couple of minutes and we'll get started. See if any more people join in. So what's everyone been up to? Christmas decorations up yet? My missus is talking about it. She's in the other room looking over me to say, what are you talking about, me? You can come through, babe. That's all right. Just give it a couple more minutes. Then we'll just get cracking. I'm not going to wait around for like hundreds of people because that's not going to happen. Did you have a live last week? I didn't because I was so ill last week. I didn't do a live. And next week I won't have one either, Nick, because I'm actually in London for a London workshop next Sunday. And I won't be home till late, so that probably won't happen. So I wanted to try and get one in this week. I wasn't going to do one this week because of how crappy I felt, but you know, get stuck in there as you do. Well, another minute or so. We'll see if anyone else joins, and then we'll get cracking with this landscape mixer neural filter, which I should tell you that. Okay, cool, thanks. I should tell you that I actually watched a video from a couple of guys in one of my big groups that I'm involved in on Facebook. So that would be who was that? They did a video the other night about a lot of the newer filters, but I just wanted to make sure that because most of the people who are in my groups have or are landscape photographers, that we go over this one filter that actually is pretty good. And I had a little bit of a test of it. It's been there for a while. It's not one of the newer filters, but it is pretty incredible what it can do. So John and Andrew from one of my big groups did a live on Friday night. We went over all the newer filters, but this one kind of stuck out in my mind. I looked at it and I was like, yeah, that's doing something really quite amazing. And because it's Photoshop's AI is getting better and better. So when this first came out, I think it was in an early iteration of Photoshop 22. I think it came out. I had a little play of it, and it was okay. It was all right. I saw some YouTube videos on it, and I was like, yeah, okay. But I think they've done a little bit of work on it, and it is actually quite good. So we're gonna take a delve into Photoshop. So let's start my screen share. Let's find Photoshop there. Share. You should now see, hopefully, my Photoshop page. Let me know in the comments if you see anything other than Photoshop. Is it Photoshop? Let me know if anyone's watching. I mean, I can see it, so we should be good to go. So what I tend to do, and you probably notice, yep, can see it all. Brilliant, Nick, thanks. What I tend to do with most images is Command J or Control J will duplicate the image. So we've got a background layer, and we'll work on a layer so we can be a little bit non-destructive almost. Then we come up to filter. You can't quite see there, but that is actually filter. Come down to neural filters, and it opens up in a different dialog box. Hi, John. How you doing, mate? I've just explained to everyone that it was your video the other night that's inspired me to do this one. John, who was in the comments there, went over quite a few of the newer filters on Friday night, and the one that kind of stood out to me was the landscape mixer. So you see a lot of the newer filters here you have to download if you want to use them. I haven't downloaded the Skin Smooth and I haven't really used it. I do my own kind of stuff, but I downloaded the landscape mixer, and it's still in a beta, which I remember was spoken about the other night. And to me, that tells me that they're still working on it and potentially getting better and better. So if we turn this on, because it's currently off, and we turn it on, you can see that the whole picture is selected with a white. With a blue background. Truly want to do. That's right, John. And you have some over the side here. Let me move me across. You have quite a few. Can you see it? All of that there? I think you can. Yeah, there's quite a few bits and pieces on the right-hand side here. So you have some presets. You can custom preset as well, so you can make custom presets. And then you have some sliders underneath that. So you have a strength slider, which isn't doing anything at the moment because we haven't actually selected anything. Then we have day, night, sunset, so spring, summer, autumn, winter. I'm going to look at these in a second because they're actually pretty darn good. Guys, if you see me looking across here every now and again, it's because I've got YouTube open on this side and I can read everyone's messages. But if you have any questions while we go through this, please don't be afraid to message, and I'll do my best to answer it. So if we look in something like the presets here, we've got certain scenes. So we've got like a sunset scene, we've got a snow scene there, like a mountain range, but it's quite a warm scene there. And we've got a sunrise or sunset just there. And if you look at the kind of tonal colors, it will give you an idea of what potentially is going to happen to your image. This, for instance, I mean, this is a picture of the steps that lead down to Manor Wall in Dorset, down near Durdledore, just kind of the opposite side of Durdledore's, kind of over to the right. And this was before sunrise, so you can see the sun is about to come up just the other side of this hill, whatever that is over there. And we've got a pretty good scene. I actually love this picture, the leading lines leading into the picture, and the hillside close by with the grass, the grassy knolls either side here is quite actually pleasing to the eye. So it's quite a nice picture. And I took it in portrait as well on purpose so I can get all the steps in. But if I want to do anything to this, let's say I wanted to turn this into a winter scene. Now, bearing in mind, guys and girls, I don't think what the next steps we're going to take will still be within the realms of photography. We're talking now digital artistry, if you want to, label it. I know there's people who don't like to do this kind of stuff. But the fact that it's there and we can have a play around with it and have a mess around. Let's just click on the first preset there, which is the winter scene. And you see down the bottom here, it's doing something. Just move some of the stuff out of the way. And look at what it's done. It's done lots And it looks actually really, really good. And I was quite surprised by this. The sea is kind of iced over, as would be if we've just gone 100% strength, because that's what the strength is here on a winter scene. It's added what looks like trees. So I think it thinks this is some kind of scene, and don't get this kind of AI. So it's very much going to add things where it says the grassy knoll on this side has now turned into what looks like more of rock, like a rock face, if you like, a mountain range this side. So that's kind of gone, but it actually looks really, really good. It's kind of taken out the steps, but it's added snow down there. But let's see what happens if we go down to, say, half strength on that. See what that kind of gives us. It actually takes it back quite a bit. We've got some of the grass back on this side. There's not so many of what looks like trees. There's a few bits and pieces been added in there. So if I come down the bottom and turn this off using this button down here, we can show the original. You can see where it's added trees, like tree texture, if you like. And on this side, it's kind of gone more like rocks. So it's taken out all the rocks. It's kind of almost smoothed out these steps, and it added snow. Let's go a little bit, 75. Let's go 3/4. Actually, that actually works really good. And I was playing around with this the other day, and I was thinking it's actually not bad at all. Let's have a look at one of the others. So the original was, let's go down to 0% strength. So that's the original. If we wanted to change this up to something a little bit misty, maybe, let's go that one there. We'll give it a chance to do its thing. And it's actually bringing some nice warm colors. Actually looks quite nice. But what if I wanted to go a little bit further and change the scenery completely to more of a daylight kind of look with the same preset and bring in a bit of day there? Oh, that's amazing. Thanks, mate. So now you see we've got a completely different scene. Hasn't affected much of the sky. I don't know why. In terms of daytime, you would expect the sky to be a bit lighter if the sun has now come out, if you like. But look what it's done down here. It's added texture down the mud steps. Looks really good. It's taken out the green from this right-hand side here, which if we turn it off, that is grass. There's grass there. That's grass there. So I don't know what it's thinking that is. It's turned it into like a like a muddy rock mock. That's where I got mock from. A muddy rock face, and taking out all the grass for some reason. It's strange. And it's added like mud down. I'm sure that wasn't mud there. There is actually grass all the way down there. It's just, very dark. I don't know whether it's just taken the shade there. But, it's just one of them things. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I like what it's doing. It's completely changing the rock down here. It's doing something very, very strange. But you can see how powerful this could potentially be if we add the sunset, because we know the sun's coming up. Let's see what that's going to do. Is that going to do anything? No. Very little. Well, kind of just added a little bit of like an overlay almost effect. But yeah, really, really, I don't know. I think it's really, really good. There's so many different things you could potentially do. I mean, I'm working on an image that's dark anyway. Let's just cancel out that, because it is before the sun came up, it was about maybe a good half hour. There's quite a bit of light in the sky, but yeah, it's going to be a dark image. So there's not a lot of detail in there anyway. So let's go to an image which is taken during the day. Remember, these are obviously edited. I'm going to Control J and work on a separate layer. Go down to the neural filters again and have a play with this one. Similar kind of thing. So let's see if we can turn this into a wintry scene. You've got the grass local, like right close to the camera here, to give it a bit of depth. And this is Corf. Oh, look at that. This is the village of Lulworth Cove. So this is Lulworth down here, and there's Lulworth Cove just in the background, just there. And look what that's done. That actually looks really, really good. I'm not too keen on what it's done to the grass in the foreground because it's a bit too sharp. If we have a look beforehand, it's out of focus on on purpose, really close. I wanted to give it a nice bit of depth. But let's see, all the trees. Let's turn this into a hillside. So potentially we've now got, sledders going downhill there. That's not actually a hill there. That's just a load of trees. The hill actually comes up the other way. So from the village, there's a hill that comes up to this house, but it kind of makes you think that the hill starts there and comes down. But but when you think about what it's doing, it's creating something really quite magical. And the village, it just looks great. I don't know what to tell you. I think it looks really, really good. I think it's funny. The only bit of green's left in there is that little bit of hillside smack in the middle. Finally in. Okay, Jazzy, how you doing? All right? Jazzy George. Yeah, it's just, I think it's really, really fun. So let's now go to something like, let's turn that, because we don't want that. How do we turn it off? Can't remember how you actually turn the preset off. I don't know. Maybe we can come out and go back in. Let's come out and go back in. And because I like doing things really easy. And then go landscape mixer again. But this time, what I want to do with this is actually turn this into a nighttime scene. So let's come down to the sliders and not worry about the presets. Let's just go straight to sliders. So let's look at nighttime. Let's do it all the way up to 100%. See what that does for us. Boom! Look at that. That's funny. It kept a bit of color in the sky there, just to give it a little bit of a. I don't know. It looks like it's just after sunset. In this case, it'd be a sunrise because we're looking east. But yeah, really good. It's added lights to the houses. How cool is that? So if I zoom in, it's added bits of lights. I mean, they're kind of out of focus. It's kind of not done anything for my focus, but it's quite funny. And what that does from a proper daytime scene. Look at that to that. That's brilliant. So if we dial it back ever so slightly, because I think it's maybe a little bit too much, maybe a bit more to the point where maybe we get a little bit more detail in some of the trees and stuff like that. Notice it hasn't done anything to the trees this time. It hasn't changed anything. Not using one of the presets means we're just changing like the colors, the luminance, all that kind of stuff, rather than actually adding AI, kind of adding hillsides, stuff like that. But it's actually really, really good. Look, a nighttime scene. How many times have I tried to? I know, John is brilliant. How many times have I tried to take an image from daytime and create a nighttime scene? There's loads of ways to do it in Photoshop. There's LUTs that will help out, all this kind of stuff. But this just makes it really easy. I know it's almost like cheating, isn't it? It really is. So let's come out of the nighttime and let's have a look at turning this into an autumn scene. This was in summer. It's really green. The trees are proper green, if you like. Look at that. Boom. Oh, that's crazy. The only thing it didn't really affect, I think, is the color of the water. The water's affected a little bit. It's actually changed. The AI has changed the whole landscape. Look at the difference. You got something going on down here which is different. I don't know, something's being added. The tree line here is different, but you'd never know. I'm sorry, you'd never know. You wouldn't know. I think that's brilliant. I think that's amazing. I don't know what else to say. It's crazy. So the other thing I was thinking about with this is, does it work with people? Can we do something with a person? And this is my little boy. This was a picture taken a few months ago during summer. You see it's nice and green and stuff like that. I've done a bit of work to the image itself. I blurred the background a little bit more than it was blurred, but it was with a 70-200, so I had a nice bokeh anyway. And the idea here was that we makeshifted, if that's a word, makeshifted a puddle so we can have a little bit of a splash around in. And it got a few snaps before he ran off and we nearly lost him in the woods. But let's see what we can do with this filter in with it's got a subject in it. So let's turn landscape mixer on. Now in here, you got that, if you go right down the bottom, you've got preserve subject and harmonize subject. Now, preserving subject means it will be cute. Nice shot, man. Yeah. It's a nice shot, John. I took about 10 in about, very quick succession and got this one out of it before we ran off working with kids and animals, right? So we can look at doing stuff here, but we might have to play around with these because the AI, although it can detect there's people in it, it does some weird and wonderful things. So let's do the same thing with this. Let's turn this into an autumn scene. Let's go full 100% for the time being. See what this does. Did I turn the strength down? No. We've temporarily disabled this filter because of an error. Well, don't say that. Let's try again. Work. Let's come out a second. Let me stop that. I actually had this the other day. I don't know why it's doing it. Maybe it's overloading my computer. Let me restart Photoshop for a second. Let's just not save any of that. Don't save that. Don't save that. And I'll restart Photoshop, bring that back in. Give me 1 second, guys. And screen share. Right, we're back in Photoshop. Let's see if it does it now. Yeah, sometimes too. Yes, I had it the other day. It's weird. Weird. Autumn. Let's see if this works. Is it going to do anything? No. Let me get away with it because it's a beta. Let's try again. We'll get there, guys. Don't worry. We will get there. I want to show you this because it's done some weird, very weird things with my boy's head. No, let's come out again. Let's go. Did that stop sharing a second. Live TV never work with children and animals. Roger that, mate. Roger that. Hang on, let's quit out of it. It is the 2023 version of Photoshop. There might be a bug or two. There's always a bug when they do these updates. I generally leave my updating for a good few weeks. I haven't updated my Mac yet because I know there's issues with a couple of uploader bits of software that I do for my wedding photography. So not actually updated my computer yet, and glad I didn't. Let's see if it works this time. Let's screen share Photoshop. Right, let's do this. Yeah, it's a beta, John. So let's try this. Fingers crossed last time, otherwise I'm going to move on and show you something slightly different. Let's go. Autumn. No, not having it. What a bummer. Okay, so what was the other one I was going to quickly just mess around with? I think it was Smart Portrait while I had this open. So let's turn that off and turn that on. Now, Smart Portrait, you see there's now a blue box around my boy's, fingers crossed, John, it didn't work, mate, around my boy's face. Because now we have a few little actions we can do just here, which, by the way, guys, this is just for fun. This is literally just for fun because this, in my own personal opinion, I think still needs a bit of work. It might be because the angle and direction that Logan's looking kind of down and to the side, some of these didn't quite work for me and it kind of distorted. So what it can do, because it's now detected the face, it knows where the features of the face are, and the AI can reconstruct certain things. So we can ask it to make my boy a little bit happier. So let's go be happy. I'm going to zoom in. And this is now working on the cloud. This isn't working locally, so it will take a bit more time than it did with the landscape mixer, because the landscape mixer works locally on the computer. So we're just going to look at that. That's funny. It does add a smile. The problem it has is it distorts and warps my boy's face, which I don't like, and adds a very dark kind of halo on the outside. So it's kind of done what it says it was going to do, but it, in my mind, still has a little bit of work to go. Now, my boy's got a very big forehead anyway, so I don't know whether it doesn't really recognize. It must understand where the eyes and stuff are, because it hasn't really done anything to them. But I don't know. I'm not convinced just yet. So we can make him unhappy. So we go the other way and go unhappy. Let's see what that does. Yeah, it's the same thing with the head, and it kind of works if you look at the before and after. And it kind of wants to mimic what the face would do if you were kind of frowning. So when my boy was like that, if I'm going to frown, the whole face, the whole jaw is going to move differently. So it kind of tries to do that. Again, I think it's where my boy is looking at a certain angle. It's not quite working right. We can do things like age. I'm going to age my boy by 50 years. See what that does. Oh, cripes. Work, play with that, guys and girls. This filter isn't new. I don't know if they've done any work on this over the last couple of years, but it's been, I think it's been on here. It was one of the first filters they put in. I'm fairly certain of that. Hair thickness. Now my boy's got pretty thick hair anyway. You can see his thing. So maybe we should thin it out. See what that does. The other way. Hasn't done anything. Let's see if we go plus, or is it still working? I don't know. Let's go the other way. Now it wants to do something. Oh, yeah. I mean, try and do stuff. Okay, so we've got expressions. We surprise, anger. Globally, we can change the head direction. This doesn't work at all. As far as I know, in most cases that I've seen, this doesn't work. So if I want my boy to look a bit more to the left, I'll go that way a little bit. So a little bit, go all the way that way. Oh, does it? I mean, it kind of does it, but it really messes with everything. Now, if it went the other way, it's going to do the same thing the other side. Guaranteed there'll be stuff going on wrong around here. Alert. So it's added. I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of done it. Looks hilarious. That's crazy. And we can change where the light's coming from. So we can add more light to the left. So it can artificially add light coming from the other side, which it does a fairly good job. It adds a shadow over this side. And again, if we go the other way, it will do that. And that actually doesn't do anything too bad. Actually, it looks all right. So yes, have a play around with these. The settings don't really mean much to me, but have a play around. Let's see if we can go back to the landscape first. See if it's actually going to do something this time. Is it going to work? No, still not going to work. But I did have a test with this. I'm not gonna continue boring everyone with me trying to keep restarting Photoshop to get it done. But it does do a very good job. The only thing you have to mess around with is if you want to preserve the subject or harmonize subject. I found you have to turn harmonize subject off, because what it wants to do is change your subjects in terms of how it's changing the background, and it kind of all distorted my boy's head. It kind of added like leaf type texture on top. So what I would tend to do in that case is preserve subject, so the subject doesn't get changed, if you like, in any way, and use the filter however you want to. And in this case, I did have changes to an autumn theme. Obviously, it didn't change the color of my boy, but what I would do is then go back and take it into Photoshop, and you can choose how you want to output. So what I would do is choose this as its own maybe smart filter layer, and then I would select the subject independently and then work on the color in Photoshop just on my boy to match the background. Then you have to mess around matching the background, but it does actually do a very good job. I really like this this filter, this landscape mixer filter. I think it's really, really good. And I think it's something that, as a landscape photographer, it's worth having a little play around with. Again, to verify, I don't think this is going past photography. This is now getting to a bit of digital play, if you like, messing around using AI, stuff like that. We've looked at the new kind of AI revolution that's coming in at the moment, but Photoshop have had their Sensei, I can't remember how they pronounce it, AI in Photoshop for a couple of years now, and like I said, the smart portrait filter was one of the first ones they brought out. I'm fairly certain of that. Maybe beginning of version 22, if I remember rightly. So it's that they've been on it for a while. Whether they're there yet in terms of what it does, I don't know. I think it adds a little bit of flair to an image sometimes. You got the sliders, so you don't have to go 100% and just completely wreck an image, if you like. But sometimes, especially the nighttime scene, I've spent many an hour changing a daytime scene into night, adding lights here and there, to places and stuff like that, hours. And you can get a very good start even just by using the nighttime or night feature here. It does a very, very, very good job. I mean, you don't have to go, all 100% and you can just start it by maybe creeping in at 50%, export it as a smart filter, and then if you have to do anything more with it later, bring it back in and do some more work. Change it then. It's a smart filter. You'll be able to rework it. I just think it's a very, very good filter that people may know about but haven't actually had to play with. So get out there, play with it. It's going to be, use it for different scenes that you've got. So use night scenes, do stuff with them, and then come back and with some of your day scenes or that kind of stuff. I'm going back to London next weekend. So next Sunday I'll be in London. So maybe potentially I'll get some images that I'll be able to use in the landscape mixer panel and see what we can come up with. So thanks for joining me, guys and girls. It was only a very quick one. I just wanted to go over this one thing. I'm not going to be doing one next week. Like I said, next Sunday, I am in London. I won't be getting home till probably quite late because I've got a workshop that finishes at about 6:30. But then I've got a photo shoot after that with a model in London around Tower Bridge area. So that should be quite good. Hopefully going to try and vlog that too. So that should be quite good. That'll be on the YouTube channel. Thanks, John. So the week after that, maybe we'll look at some other bits and pieces in Photoshop. We've done loads in Lightroom, not really touched on Photoshop, and Photoshop is kind of where everyone kind of struggles. So let me know if you've got any ideas of what you want me to do. Make sure it's not teach me Photoshop. Make sure it's just something like a particular part of Photoshop, because I don't have hours and hours on a Sunday night. Just have maybe the half hour like we've had tonight. So yeah, so let me know. Cheers, Nick. Let me know if you've got any questions. If you're watching this back after the fact, you're not watching this live, please drop a comment down below. Let me know you've watched it. That's always good to see that I'm reaching people after the fact too. And if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. Cheers, guys. I'll see you soon. Take care and have a good week.